Hey guys, welcome to really the first in a series of videos. It's kind of dedicated towards making custom minifigures, painting custom minifigures, and tips and tricks such as that. To me, this video has actually been kind of pretty requested recently because of my custom minifig showcase videos. I've gotten a lot of questions asking what kind of paint do I use, what kind of brushes do I use, what kind of equipment do I use, and overall, how do I really paint them. This is just going to kind of go over some of my equipment that I use for painting, and then a couple small tips and tricks for painting a minifig. So first off, the paint I use, I almost always use Homefront acrylic paint. I'd say this is probably the best paint that I personally use so far. It works out great, and it doesn't have a gloss to it, which is really nice, especially when you're painting like a camouflage or something, because you really don't want camouflage to be shiny. This is some of like the best paint that you could affordably buy, and I'd say these are some of the most important colors out there: white, brown, black, green, and sort of a light tan. These can be mixed into all sort of things. For example, brown and tan can be very, or depending on how much you mix, it could be either a very light brown or a darker tan. Black and brown, you can make a very dark brown. And then if you add a white to almost any of these, you can make the color a lot lighter, sort of more vibrant in a lot of cases. But yeah, so now that the paint's kind of out of the way, I'm just going to talk to you about the brushes I really use. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over the brush that I use for smaller details on my minifigs. So this is the brush that I normally use for smaller details. Not really any brush in particular, just a very fine brush is recommended for something like painting a minifig like with very fine details on it. A brush like this should be used for covering the minifig, so like the actual torso first. And then something like this should actually be used to cover the arms of the minifig. And yeah, so just use sort of fine brushes for more fine details. And then for the web gear, I usually use either a silver, like a Sharpie marker, for belt buckles or ammunition. And then I would use a black Sharpie pen, so there's like the fine point pens like these, for painting the actual web gear, such as slacks, suspenders, kit bags on a minifig. And yeah, so now I'm just going to go over a few general tips for really painting a minifig. Unless it's a really nice minifig torso that you want to be able to scratch the paint off of, definitely, every time you want to sand the minifig, that'll make a rough surface that the paint will stick to much, much easier. So that's always very recommended. Also, never sort of eyeball it. Always look for inspiration. Like me, I always look to either custom painted minifigs or real life examples of the thing. Don't go off an image in your head. Like, you actually try and look at something that resembles what you'd like to paint. Yeah, that really kind of is it. My next video might be a tutorial. It might not. Might be more tips and tricks. But yeah. So if you guys enjoy, oh, hold on, one more tip. Definitely. When you're doing the base color for the minifig, such as the light brown in my autumn camouflage, do multiple coats, at least 3 coats, so it doesn't scratch off as easily. But that's very, very important because your paint will scrape off if you don't clear coat it. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, if you guys found this helpful, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.